All right, y'all. Today we're looking at this boudoir photography business, and for its local searches, city searches, we're going to see if it has BSS. So we're back here in the GBC universe, where we take declining boudoir photographers to the number one boudoir photographer in their city. Our North Star, as always, is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, home video, wherever. Now, this is because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got full spectrum intent capture here in white, highest intent people up above on the, you know, over here on the left. And this is for Google search, social media search, people looking for boudoir photo shoots in our city right now. These are the highest peeps way over on the left. So we talk about here, BSS. And then over on the right, we got the lowest intent people. They are actually people that ain't searching for boudoir right now and actually may not even know what boudoir is. But there's the largest volume of people that will actually exist. So that's our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. We're talking about BLCS over there. And that is currently we only work with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. So today we're, all these videos here talking about BSS. Now BSS is boudoir search sameness. That's when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So at 0 slots, that's bad. No bueno. 0 slots on page 1 is terrible. Being page 2 or deeper because we know that approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. They're literally page 1 and done searches. So for approximately 80% of the market, we got to be, those are who we care about. We got to maximize getting in front of those people and because that's 80% of the market. That's the bulk of the market. 1 slot on page 1 Google, also not enough because we're still invisible. We're not standing out. We're looking the same as everyone else. And actually, when a buyer is going down and search and basically clicking on everyone's link, we're being price shopped against, well, there's 10 slots. We got 1, a maximum 9 other boudoir photographers. So we're literally being price shopped against everyone else on the page. Open up everyone's website, you know, doing everyone's contact forms. And we're getting price shopped to death because we're not standing out. We're looking the same as everyone else. Now, 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Common, not normal. Accepted and common, but no, not normal. And this is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone knows about, and the false belief of page 1 equality, which basically nobody knows about. So market saturation, that's when it seems like every week when someone gets a new iPhone, they're also throwing up the Google My Business profile and a website saying they now shoot boudoir. Or someone gets a new camera, they're posting the mom groups, they now shoot boudoir. And that's market saturation. Again, mostly everyone knows that. And a big flood of market saturation occurred. And when COVID happened, people lost their jobs, they still needed money. Everyone's got a phone with a great camera, so kind of easy to throw up. They already got the gear. It's easy to throw up that we now offer boudoir photo shoots. And then we got the second thing, which is new, is very few people know about, is the false belief of page 1 equality. So, false belief of page 1 equality is seems natural that boudoir photographers, everyone kind of assumes that every boudoir photographer is either 0-1 slots on page 1 of Google. And no, that is not correct. Incorrect. Google will actually give us as many slots on page 1 as we want to put in the effort to take. And I know that because I've gone from 0 out of 10 slots on Google page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on Google page 1 in only 10 days utilizing this new solution we invented. And no ad spend. That's only Google ads only literally gets you PPC ads only like 1 slot extra on the page. We're looking to take as many as possible. So falsely page 1 inequality, that's where we're like, all right, we got we got our 1 website ranked page 1 on Google. We are but market got saturated, pushed us off to page 2. Oh, that's simply what happens when market gets saturated. We lost our slot. Now we're invisible. Approximately 80% of searchers are no longer seeing us. So that's simply how it is. And not even knowing there that we can take as many slots on page 1 as we want. So we aren't even looking for solutions. It's kind of this false view of page 1 equality is kind of like a mental box or mental cage that people got to break through first to even see if there are solutions that can help, solve or alleviate the biggest problem with getting clients. And next, we know that Boudoir photographer with BSS, Boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing Boudoir photographer, a DBP. So we're getting our micro universe set up here. DBP with Boudoir search sameness is caused by the dual horns of market saturation and page 1 equality. But thankfully, we now have a solution. BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S cubed methodology. And it works exactly as the word says. We saturate social search with the highest intent Boudoir buyer keywords. So we always show up there on social. And then when we, when we actually get a ton of saturation there, it's kind of the backside of the Andes Mountains, kind of these small streams flowing into small rivers, all on social search. Those eventually flow into the big Amazon River. That's like those eventually flow onto page 1 of Google if we saturate social search page 1 enough. So this is the magic of S-cubed methodology. And S-cubed methodology is literally the only thing I've seen other than brand, which takes 5 to 10 years to actually pay off or give the results we're going to talk about right now. S-cubed methodology is the only thing that I've seen that can successfully fight back against market saturation and allow Boudoir photography business to continue to grow, or has the highest chance to continue to grow in the face of market saturation. And this all occurs relatively quickly, not 5 to 10 years like actually building a brand. So imagine we got 1 million boudoir photographers in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota. And when we, everyone's got their website fighting for, page slots on page 1 Google, then basically we got massive competition going on page 1, and we decide, okay, we got to do S-cube methodology to the maximum. So we do that. We get the first 300 slots across all social search and Google. And as a result, anytime any buyer in Minneapolis, St. Paul searches for boudoir photography, a high intent keyword, then we're basically the only person that's showing up on any search platform, kind of anywhere they look, or Google, taking the first 300 slots. And it's literally like, it's 10 organic slots per page on Google. It means buyers would literally have to go to like page 31 to actually essentially find any of our competitors. And we already know approximately 80% of searches ain't never going on. They never even hit page 2, so who the heck is hitting page 31? And so whose business is growing in this situation? If we got, the first 300 slots across anywhere any boudoir buyer looks, obviously our business will be the one growing. And everyone's also be disappearing, shrinking, vanishing. So, again, this is S-cube methodology to the max. What's the probability that we actually get those 300? Who knows? But S-cube methodology is the only thing that I've seen that gives a non-zero chance of achieving that. And so that's what I'm saying. S-cube methodology is the only thing I've seen that can successfully fight back against market saturation and actually, allow boudoir photographer to increase market share during this time. Now, once we read the S-cube methodology, we now have page 1 visibility, P1V. And, obviously the initial benefit of utilizing S-cube methodology is getting more slots on page 1, but we get the second benefit, initial benefit, which is kicking competing boudoir photographers off page 1, effectively making them invisible. Yeah, so every slot we take, we're kicking a competing boudoir photographer off. They're on page 2, and we also already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. So they're being hidden from 80% of the market. They're only getting 20% even viewing. And so they'll be disappearing soon enough. And page 1 visibility activates Boudoir search visibility for us, BSV. That's where we want. That's where I recommended minimum of 3 out of 10. Basically 3 out of 10 page 1 slots comes from. And basically, if we got 3 out of 10 slots on page 1, we're definitely going to be showing up more amazingly than everyone else with 1 slot, and even those with 2 slots, and way higher. And that 2 slots is extremely rare, anyways. So we're basically going to be dominating essentially every other boudoir photographer in essentially every other situation. We also know that boudoir photographer with BSV, boudoir search visibility, is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got our micro universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by market saturation and page 1 equality, or the false belief of page 1 equality, because people didn't even know a solution like this could exist to take as many page 1 slots as we wanted. We now do have the solution though. Thank the universe SQ'd methodology, we achieve page 1 visibility, become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. Now here's the results I've gotten myself using SQ'd methodology. I wanted to rank for the term BLCS boudoir, so I utilized SQ'd methodology. So come down here to the organic slots. We got organic slot 1, us. Organic slot 2, us. 3, us. 4, us. 5, us. 6, us. 7, us. 8, us. And 10, us. So we went from 0 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search to 9 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search in only 10 days. So these are the results that I got utilizing SQ'd methodology. Now, onto the main event here. We're going to see if this boudoir photography business, see if it's got BSS for its local or its city search, see if it's hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google. So let's get into this. We're going to Germantown, Tennessee, and Memphis, Tennessee. All right, so what we got here. We're in Germantown, Tennessee. All right, let's see what we got. All right, we got 1. All right, so we got 1 out of 10 for local search. Go to city. City is always harder to rank for. It's more people competing. Oh, nice. We got organic slot 1. That's great. So we got 1 out of 10. All right, so we got 1 out of 10 here. So we got 1 out of 10 for local, we got 1 out of 10 for Memphis. So yeah, we got BSS for both, and we are hitting the GBC universe recommended minimum. 3 out of 10. Neither of those searches. So, all right, so if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you've done your local search, your city local searches, city searches with the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your city, and you got 0-1 slots for any of them, at least one of them, or you're not reaching the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 Google search for at least one of them, and you've accepted the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. So you know we can actually take as many slots on page 1 Google search as we want. Then, well, Andrew St. SQ'd methodology is the only solution to give you those slots, and it's actually something you've been waiting for. And you're loving the initial benefits, more slots page 1 Google search, kick in competing boudoir photographers off page 1 Google search, relegating them to page 2 or page 3 or deeper, and never actually having to kind of deal with them as competitors anymore, making them disappear to approximately 80% of Google searches, so approximately 80% of the market. And you understand the market saturation, yeah, more peeps buy new gear eventually become boudoir photographers, yeah, they kind of trickle in over time. But you're looking ahead and you're seeing, okay, AI is taking peeps jobs right now, and AI is definitely going to get better and better, so it's going to take more and more peeps jobs over time. And you understand last time that happened, lots of peeps lost their job. COVID, massive wave of boudoir photographers came into the marketplace. So you're like, uh-oh, massive market saturation is coming, and you're realizing you actually need to fortify your position on page 1, which means have so many links that Google wants to rank on page 1 that there's not enough space to rank them all. So you're actually link stuffing page 2, 3, 4 onward, and basically guaranteeing no current boudoir photographer can get onto page 1, and basically no future boudoir photographer that comes after AI takes their job can ever get onto page 1. And you're saying, well, how to get that many links? So you're saying, oh, SQ methodology, that's the only solution. I can give you that fortification. And you're also understanding that when we successfully execute SQ methodology every single day, we're actually creating we're actually creating like these invisible thematic keyword columns that are plugging into our brand, like kind of 360 degrees around our brand. And these are building up back-end keyword AI mindshare for the AI systems, AI searchers out there. And so every day we do this, successfully execute methodology, we're actually increasing the probability that we show up here in AI overview. The most premium placement, we cannot purchase this. And so that's a future benefit of SQ methodology. Another future benefit of SQ methodology is we are actually higher probability that we show up in AI search. So ChatGPT search, Claude, Perplexity, Google, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. And this is huge. Increasing its probability every single day is huge because more and more people use an AI search every single day. Last time I did AI search for boudoir photographer in the city, I actually looked and it recommended me 3. So I went to look manually on Google and Facebook. Hey, how many boudoir photographers are actually in the city? Dude, there's like 60. So if AI is only recommended 3, we gotta get there. We gotta have so much back end AI keyword mindshare momentum that AI has to give recommend those positions to us. And you're also like the fact that my current plan is to work with only one boudoir photographer per city. So you're like, and yeah, you can get all these benefits, but also you can prevent your competitors from getting all these benefits, allowing you to build up a massive like AI mindshare gap, back-end AI keyword mindshare gap for the increased probability of recommended through AI overview and recommended through AI search. And you can actually deny your competitors getting that. So basically, you're able to build up a massive gap between you and your competitors, and basically make it so big that current competing boudoir photographers can never achieve it or reach it, and future boudoir photographers can never that come in after AI takes their jobs can never catch you. So you decide you're a first mover on this. You can't miss out, and you actually want you're thinking conversely, if some other peeps, if one of your competitors were to get on the sign up with me first, you would actually lose out on all the benefits. Your competitor would begin all these links page 1. Have so many links page 1, there'd actually be overflowing to the future page 2, 3, 4. You would be relegated to page 2 or deeper, and we would obviously have the goal of making you have no chance to ever get to page 1. And then we'd be building a massive keyword, backend AI keyword kind of momentum, mindshare to get recommended AI overview, Google search, and with all the AI search apps. And for you to compete, you'd actually have to go rederive S-cubed methodology on your own, and you'd never have any idea if you've derived it. Well, you'd have to drive it for your first time for yourself. You'd never know if you successfully 100% derived it correctly. And then you'd have to equal our execution every single day. And if you did that, you'd simply be maintaining the gap that we've already massively built ahead of you. And then once that happens, you would actually have to 2 to 3x our execution every single day to start closing that gap and pulling that back-end AI mindshare away from me and your competitor's brand back towards you. But since you're not even 100% confident you've derived it correctly in the first place, it's hard to put in that much effort to something you're not confident in. And when you actually think about it, you're like, dude, who's got 80 hours per day to do all this stuff? So you decide, screw that. You're actually going to be the first mover in your city, get all these benefits. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. Our DMs are currently closed. The hospital is currently closed for new patient intake, but when we do open our DMs for new patient intake, shoot us a DM. and we will see if you qualify.